Welcome to Keep It Electric, episode 62, currently being recorded on Friday, November 8th. I can't say that I will be with you very long today because today's trades grades topic will be catcher. With us knowing who the mainstay is at that position, I don't really have much to critique about this guy, which will probably make for a shorter conversation, given the Mariners probably won't be addressing much there either. So there's a lot brewing around the Mariners and the rest of the league. Let's dive into that first. First up, as expected, since my last recording, Jorge Polanco and Luis Urias have officially opted for free agency. Frankly, I think this is a good move. Both players underperformed last season, and their departures free up some much-needed payroll. Second base was a glaring question mark for us, and now it's back to the drawing board. A couple of episodes ago, I was thinking we might see Josh Rojas, Dylan Moore, or even Ryan Bliss platooning at second, with a prospect like Cole Young making an appearance in 2025. Based on the latest chatter from the Mariners front office, it sounds like they're eyeing an external solution for the position, potentially bringing in a fresh face to lock down the keystone. Interestingly enough, Alex Bregman recently hinted he'd be open to moving to second base, which could be an intriguing fit. Jerry Dipoto has been on record in the past about converting another player to second base, so Bregman might fit the bill. It's clear the Mariners are seeking a second baseman who can add some offensive power. Outside of J.P. Crawford at shortstop, we could be looking at a major infield shakeup in the coming season. The GM meetings have been rife with rumors, and word is that the Mariners have been in contact with the Cubs. However, the front office doesn't appear interested in parting ways with their pitching talent right now, so any potential moves on that front might just have to wait. Now, there are plenty of names swirling around the Mariners' infield needs. There's whispers of Christian Walker, a potential trade for Nolan Arenado. Of course, Bregman's name keeps popping in and out. Even Paul Goldschmidt's name has been mentioned. I would just say let's keep in mind that the Mariners probably aren't looking to stack the roster with aging veterans on big contracts. So sure, they could use some experienced leadership, but Dipoto and company seem focused on sustainable growth rather than paying top dollar for talent nearing the twilight of the career. So just keep that in mind. Either way, I'll keep you posted on any official news as they come in. The offseason is just getting started, and with the early rumors, there's a lot of indication that there could be very active moves by the Mariners made this winter. All right, it's time to dig into the heart of the show. We're moving on to the fifth installment of Trades Grades, a segment where we break down each position around the diamond, assign performance grades for the 2023-2024 season, and make predictions for who's likely going to be starting on opening day. So far, I've covered first, second, third, and short. Today, we're diving into the catcher position, which makes this segment probably the easiest one yet. Before I get into the details, I do want to give a shout out to Cal Raleigh and Dylan Moore for earning their first career Gold Gloves. Raleigh took the honor for catcher, and Moore took the honor for his work as a utility player. It's about time both of them received well-deserved recognition. They both deserve it. Dylan Moore has faced his share of injuries that's limited his playing time over the years, but when he's on the field, he's proven to be pretty good at what he does. As for Raleigh, I have to admit, there's probably some bias here, but I do think, I genuinely believe he's top 5 catchers in baseball, and he doesn't get enough recognition for that. On certain nights, I think he's actually the best. So seeing him shine, especially this past season, that Sunday night baseball game, that was incredible. He reminded everyone exactly who he is, and when the lights were at the brightest, he showed why he deserves the respect that he's finally getting right now. So kudos to him. Last season, Cal Raleigh was hands down the MVP for the Seattle Mariners, in my opinion, especially offensively. Statistically, he was the best player on the team. He led the team in wins above replacement with an impressive 4.7. Not only did he top the league in home runs for a catcher, but he was also second behind Salvador Perez in ribbies. So if there's any room for improvement, I'm sure he would tell you this himself, it might be lowering his strikeout rate and getting that batting average and on-base percentage up. Honestly, though, his production was off the charts. He came through in the clutch time and time again. Plus, if you're going to test him on the base paths, you better make sure that you come correct. So with Cal, you get a rare mix of power, defense, and leadership, which are all vital to this Mariners rosters. Beyond the stats, Cal is the backbone of this team. Not only does he deliver offensively and defensively, but he also manages the talented rotation that he's catching. He's calling the game for these pitchers. So, I think this pitching staff could look completely different without him behind the plate. He's guiding the arms through tough games. It's just really hard to overstate how valuable he is. In many ways, he's the anchor of the entire roster. So when it comes down to the catcher position, there's no need to entertain ideas about upgrades. Cal Raleigh has earned the spot, and the Mariners should focus on supporting him and not really replacing him. So let's talk about the backup situation, because that's probably more intriguing. Mitch Garver actually managed to stay pretty healthy last season, which was a relief considering his injury history. He struggled offensively. He hit just 172, somehow managed to hit 15 homers and 51 ribbies. His production could have been better with more consistency at the plate, but if he stays healthy, he might be a solid backup for Cal. I wouldn't expect him to have another season like this, especially if he avoids the injury bug again. But if things don't work out with Garver, the Mariners might look to the farm for additional depth. Either way, spending big money on catcher isn't a priority when Cal Raleigh's given you 153 games at the position. So with that in mind, the catcher position earns a solid A for me, no question. If we look ahead, we also have Harry Ford, who's been a rising star in the Mariners farm system. He's still developing his game behind the plate, and with Riley firmly established as a starter, there's no rush to bring Ford up. If Ford's bat, however, becomes super potent, that he's pushing for a spot, maybe we'll see him at DH or even trying him out in the outfield. But our outfield's pretty set. There's no need to rush that transition. And Ford's too valuable, in my opinion, to even think about as a trade chip, especially when there's no contract locked in for Riley long term. So Ford is pretty much the perfect insurance down the road if or when Riley eventually shifts to first base or DH. But that's a scenario that we're talking about that's way down the line. For now, we're in a good place with Riley and Garver as the catching duo. This offseason, the front office has been vocal about improving offensively and upgrading the infield, and that makes the most sense. Mariners fans are aligned with that focus. I'm aligned with that focus. We all want to see more firepower in the lineup, and it's promising to hear the front office admitting that need for change amongst the infield. So now it's up to them to make the moves and turn those words into action. So that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Keep It Electric. As always, it's been great diving into the latest Mariners news with you. Next time, we'll be shifting our focus to the outfield. Now, it may seem like the outfield lineup is pretty much set, but there's actually a lot of interesting chatter to talk about around that. Mitch Haniger's contract is super interesting. So from player development to potential trades and even position flexibility, we've got plenty to discuss. So don't miss it. There's going to be some exciting breakdowns as we look ahead to the upcoming season. Thank you all for tuning in once again and for your support and engagement. Every week it's a privilege to bring you the latest on our Mariners. We love hearing your thoughts, by the way, and insights. So until next time, keep cheering, keep believing, and as always, go Mariners.